today I'm going to read you Inside Out, and it's called Movie on Disney Plus. So let's begin. When a little girl called Riley was born, her first emotion, joy, ran headquarters from inside Riley's mind. As Joy watched what happened to Riley on a big screen, memory spheres were created. Joy picked up the first memory. It showed Riley as a baby. It was gold because the sphere contained a happy memory. Joy placed the sphere on a shelf in headquarters. As Riley grew older, the shelves in headquarters became full of memory spheres. Joy was also joined by 4 more emotions: sadness, disgust, anger, and fear. Together, the 5 emotions made important choices for Riley. On the console inside her mind, Joy was the leader, and she wanted was for the little girl to be happy. Fear helped Riley safe. He once stopped her from tripping over a power cable when she was running through the house. Disgust kept Riley away from things that smelled, or tasted funny, like a broccoli. Anger cared very deeply about things being fair. All tantrums happened where our anger was driving the console. Finally, there was sadness. Her role was not as obvious as Riley's other emotions. In fact, Joy wasn't sure why sadness was there at all. When something important happened to Riley, a core memory was created. Each core memory powered Riley's islands of personality. There were 5 islands: goofball, friendship, hockey, honesty, and family. When Riley was 11, her mom and dad announced that they were moving from their hometown in Minnesota to San Francisco. The emotions panicked. Riley had great friends and a lovely home in Minnesota. Things couldn't have been better there. After a long car journey, Riley and her parents arrived at their new house in San Francisco. Riley was miserable that she had to move, but Joy desperately tried to keep Riley happy by taking control of the console. Before long, it was Riley's first day at her new school. Joy gave each emotion an important job to do. Joy was determined to keep Riley happy on her first day at school. She carefully drew a circle of chalk on the floor around sadness. This is the circle of sadness. Your job today is to make sure that all the sadness stays inside, she told sadness. At school, Riley was asked to tell the class something about Minnesota, but suddenly her smile faded, and she began up. Joy saw that sadness had left her circle and touched the hockey memory sphere, turning it blue. As Riley cried in front of her class, her first blue core memory was created. Joy turned on the memory vacuum. Sadness tried to take the memory from Joy, but in the chaos, Joy, sadness, and all 6 core memories were sucked up the memory vacuum tube. Joy and sadness were sucked out of headquarters and dumped out in the long-term memory. All the islands of personality had turned dark since the core memories weren't to hold to power them up. Joy knew that they had to get the memories back to headquarters so the islands would work again. The headquarters was far away. Joy collected up 5 yellow cornberries and both she and Sadness headed towards a bridge to Goofball Island. But what if we fall into the memory dump? Said Sadness. We will be forgotten about forever. We won't fall, Joy answered. Just think positive. Joy had just made it to Goofball Island when it began to crumble. It was collapsing because Riley had got angry with her parents and stopped goofing about with her dad. Joy grabbed Sadness and made it back to long-term memory, just as before the island disappeared into the dump. Sadness looked back at where the islands had stood and realized that they could lose the other islands of personality too. Joy tried to stay positive. They just have to make their way through another island, through the winding shelves of long-term memory. But Sadness slumped to the floor in a puddle of despair as she thought about the islands collapsing. So Joy picked up one of her legs and dragged her along. Back in Riley's bedroom, Riley was chatting to her old friend Meg on her laptop. Meg told Riley about a new girl on the hockey team. Riley missed playing hockey with her old friends, so the news made her angry. At headquarters, Angle took charge of the console, and flames roared out of the top of his head. Back in long-term memory, Joy and Sadness heard a long groan as Friendship Island fell into the dump. Joy looked up to Hockey Island. We just have to go the long way around, she said, trying hard to keep positive. As Joy and Sadness tried to find their way to Hockey Island, they bumped into a funny-looking creature. "You're Bing Bong!" Joy said excitedly. "You're Riley's imaginary friend!" Riley and Bing Bong used to play together. They even had a rocket wagon that was powered by a song, but over the years Riley had forgotten him. Bing Bong told Joy that he was in long-term memory looking for a good memory, so Riley could remember him and he could be a part of his life again. "You know what? We're on our way to headquarters. Come with us and we'll get Riley to remember you," said Joy. Bing Bong gave Joy his bag to carry the core memories in and told them it'll be much quicker to catch the train of thought to headquarters. "There's a station in Imaginary Land," he said. "Come on, this way." The three of them reached Imagination Land just as the train pulled away. But Bing Bong knew how to get to another station through Imaginary Land. Once inside, Joy and Sadness were amazed. There was a French fry forest, Trophy Town, and Cloud Town. As soon as they reached a house of clouds where Bing Bong found his rocket again, they also found the imaginary boyfriend generation. Meanwhile, Riley was at the trials for a new hockey team. At headquarters, anger, disgust, and fear tried to get Riley through it, but the emotions couldn't find the right memory to replace the missing core memory. Riley missed the puck, fell over, and then stormed off. Inside Riley's mind, Hockey Island fell to pieces and sank into the memory dump. Joy, Sadness, and Bing Bong watching in horror for the gates of Preschool World. Inside Preschool World, some mind workers took Bing Bong's rocket and threw it into the memory dump. "No!" yelled Bing Bong. He fell to the floor and cried sweets. Joy tried to cheer him up, but nothing worked. Sadness sat beside Bing Bong. "I'm sorry they took your rocket wagon," she said. After they talked about how he felt, he said, "I feel okay now." Joy was surprised. Sadness hadn't made Bing Bong feel worse. She had made him feel better. Joy, Sadness, and Bing Bong finally made it to the train, but it stopped because Riley had gone to sleep to wake her up so that the train could start moving again. Joy and Sadness found a huge, scary town called Jungles, hidden in Riley's muchness, where her deepest, darkest fears were. They're like jungles to the dream productions where Riley's dreams are made. The clown crashed through Riley's dream and she woke up suddenly. The trio ran back to the train and jumped aboard just as when it was about to leave. Meanwhile, at our headquarters, Angela had plugged an idea bulb into the console. After everything had happened, and without Joy around to help, Angela decided that the best thing for Riley was to run away back to Minnesota. After the bulb was plugged into the console, the idea popped into Riley's head just as she walked out from her scary dream. Riley needed money to buy a bus ticket to Minnesota, so she sneaked downstairs and took money from her mum's purse. Back on the train of thought, Joy heard a loud noise and looked out the train carriage to see Honesty Island fall into the dump. Suddenly, the tracks underneath the train crumbled away, and the train crashed into the cliffside. Everyone on the train jumped off it just before it tipped off the cliff edge to the dump below. "That was our way home," Joy cried. "We lost another island. What is happening?" "Haven't you heard?" replied a worker from the train. "Riley is running away," he said. After the train crashed, Sadness realized that they could use a record tube and long-term memory to get back to headquarters. But as Joy got sucked up the tube, the cliff underneath began to break apart. The tube broke and Joy fell into the memory dump. At that moment, Riley was heading to the bus station, feeling nothing. Down in the dump, Joy felt hopeless. She looked out of a memory of a time where Riley had been sad but her friends come to cheer her up. Suddenly, Joy realized that Sadness was important. Riley's friends come to help because she was sad. Just then, Bing Bong appeared. The pair came out with an idea. They could use Bing Bong's rocket wagon to fly out of the memory dump. They sang loudly to power the cliff, but each time they flew up, they couldn't reach the edge of the cliff. They gave it one last try, and right Joy noticing Bing Bong jumped out of the rocket so they could reach the cliff. As Joy looked back, she saw Bing Bong in the dump far below. "Go save Riley," he called. "Take her for the moon for me, okay?" Joy had to grab Sadness, who was floating on a cloud, and get back to headquarters as Family Island crumbled away. Joy spotted an imaginary boyfriend and had an idea. Joy used the boyfriend generator to make hundreds of boyfriends. Using them a huge tower, she swung towards Sadness. Joy grabbed hold of Sadness and two of them flew through the air towards headquarters. Splat! They hit the back window and started to slide down the glass. Anger, fear, and disgust ran towards the window. How were they going to get them inside? Disgust had an idea. She got Anger really mad until flames burst out of him, and she used the fire to cut a hole in the window. Joy and Sadness climbed inside. "Oh, thank goodness you're back!" cried Fear. Joy looked up at the screen and saw that Riley was on the bus, ready to run away from home and back to Minnesota. She realized that she had to let Sadness drive and let her step up to the console. Sadness took a deep breath and pulled out the idea bulb. On the bus, Riley suddenly felt that she had to stay. "Wait," she called to the driver. "I want to get off." As the other Martians looked on, Joy handed the cold memories to Xenos, and they all turned blue. Xenos placed them back into the protector, then played memories onto the screen of headquarters. At Riley's house, Riley had just arrived back. Her mum and dad had been very sick. She told them how she felt. "I miss home," she said, remembering her life back in Minnesota. Riley, mum and dad hugged each other. At headquarters, a brand new memories was created, which created a new family island. A few days later, the Islands of Personality had reappeared. Joy, Sadness, Fear, and Disgust were excited about the future. After all, Riley was 12 now. What could happen? So I read this book. I hope you enjoyed this video about this book, and please can you subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. Bye.